inflation pushes up the cost of just about everything, many people are having a hard time balancing their household budgets. And for some, that means looking for extra work. But there are some things you should be aware of before you land another job. Peter Sashecki from Everything Financial joins us now with some advice. Good morning, Peter. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Before we dive into that, I want to ask you about inflation, which is something that really does impact people's bottom line. 8.1% from Stats Canada this morning. Does that surprise you?
Not really. We kind of knew it was coming, and that's why Bank of Canada raised interest rates by a point. Was that just last week?
I know, right? It has.
But normally, if you look back, and I was looking back just before I came on the set with you, the inflation numbers in May and June over previous years, that's always the highest point in the year. Anyways, now granted, it was maybe 1.5 versus 1.1 in previous years, but it has been going down in July, and we'll probably see better results at the end of August because it is always a month behind. So I mean, gas has dropped significantly in the last few weeks. So hopefully that helps us going forward.
If you called $2 a liter cheap, but we won't even get into that right now.
Relatively speaking, let's just say.
Okay, bottom line, people need more money.
People do need more money.
So they're looking at maybe getting a second job, and we actually read a story yesterday about 40% of Americans are thinking about getting a side hustle, side job. So what kind of jobs are people mostly looking for? Something that can sort of complement their schedules and what they already do, I imagine.
Service industry, part-time jobs in the States, so there's a lot of Amazon and Uber. I know people here in Vancouver are starting to look at being Uber drivers. Things they can do that they can work around their full-time job and be pretty flexible at, and something that they can just walk away from if they need to. They're looking for a couple months relief, or maybe something relief till the end of the year.
Just something to do with the belt tightening that they're doing. But if you're doing that, I mean, you're making a higher income. How does that sort of filter down when it comes to tax time?
You're right, because what happens is the job you have, maybe you're in a 32 or 38% tax bracket, but the new job you take, if it's just part-time, you're in the lowest tax bracket and going to have very little, for that job at least, you're going to have very little tax taken off, even though in the big picture, it could push you to another tax bracket even higher because you just don't take off enough tax because the new job doesn't know about the first job.
Right.
So you need to put away some money to make sure you don't get stung in April next year.
Right. So how do you plan for that then?
Well, 35% of your income just being put aside in savings is a good rule of thumb, just to be safe. The other thing you can do is actually go on to Google and look at the Canadian tax rates for BC and see what the combined federal provincial tax rate is for your existing income plus the addition of the potential new income, and go, okay, I need to put away this much extra. If you're in a 38% tax bracket and they're only taking off 20%, better put away that other 18% because you're going to have to pay the piper at the end of the year.
It's going to cost you, yeah. Is there some circumstances where it might not even be worth it to take that extra job, or just be prepared and plan for it?
Well, the people who it might not be worth it to aren't the ones taking the extra job.
Oh, because they're already in the highest tax bracket.
They're already in the 48 to 53% tax bracket. I don't see a lot of them going for extra jobs. A lot of them already probably work 18 hours a day anyways. So it's the people who are the one income and trying to get a 1.5 income family who are all in that lower half of middle class, unfortunately, and they just need some extra money to help with the kids, help with the extra bills, and maybe you're doing it just so you can, oh, wait a minute, take your family on a vacation finally, or something like that. Yeah, what's that? But that's a lot of times what people are doing from what I've been finding from asking people.
Right. And anything else that people should consider before taking a second job, or a third job for that matter?
Look at your quality of life and your mental health. That's the most important thing. If taking that extra job, you think it's going to help, but it's actually going to cause more stress, maybe just, unfortunately, tighten the belt for a few months rather than push yourself too far. Because if your health suffers, extra job's not going to matter.
That's so true. Yeah, got to take care of all of it. Peter, good advice this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.